Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today, we are working on our code visualizer, and today's topic is trying to track in progress changes from our text editor. This is our code visualizer. The idea of the project is that over time, as we work on stuff on this channel, the amount of context for a given project grows and grows and grows. What you're looking at here is our image editor, and you can see there's like a lot of like sections of this thing. This whole green blue thing is our GUI framework. This whole yellow area is like our text renderer. Our like green section here is kind of like GUI framework stuff specific for the image editor. Purple stuff is actual image editor code, and then red is like renderer, right? You can see there's like a lot of stuff in here. Each like node in this graph represents a function, a file, a folder, a type, and like basically like something of interest. And the idea behind the project is that we want to be able to provide a quick overview of how what we're working on today impacts the overall project, right? So I've got here highlighted in red the text renderer, and we can see like, okay, so the text renderer interacts with like the text subsystem in a couple places. He looks at like ttf.zig, and in ttf he's looking at like the pixel layout stuff. And like over here, we're looking at like, okay, so there's like a GUI text thing in the GUI library, which talks to the text renderer. That makes sense. And over here, there's like some like text rendering in the image editor as well for like overlays in like pictures and stuff, right? We also like talk to like the renderer. The idea here is that if we are working on this part right now, it turns red, or like it flags. Maybe it shows like two things at once, depending if we're flip-flopping between two things in the editor. And the idea is that hopefully this provides some context to people as they jump in and out of the stream, how like what we're working on impacts everything else, which hopefully makes them feel less lost. So we are working on hooking this thing up to our text editor, and we did our like first proof of concept yesterday, where we start up a server. I think it's zig run source server.zig, and he probably needs some form of like here we go. He needs the database path. So for now, we use our image editor. Can we just look at like server zig dash dash? Here we go. This is what we did last time. And if we open up our text editor, and I think we go into the plugin thing, and we source this guy. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, sick. We start seeing like notifications every once in a while about like where we are in the codebase or like in here. And if we start going into a file that this guy knows about, we start seeing like lists saying we start noticing him saying like, hey, you're in main.zig mouse button callback. And here are like some samples of where you were at any given time over the last like 5 seconds, which is great. This gives us like the context we need to be able to like highlight a dot, right? But what it does not give us the ability to do is adjust the layout of the graph to add nodes as we add code, right? If I were to go into like new file zig here, right? And I were to start typing like const x is some struct, right? And in this struct, we have some function f, right? And we start like making some big implementation in here, right? We would want our system to add the file new file.zig, the struct x, and the function f. And if we delete this function now, we should also be like, oh, okay, that function's gone, so it's no longer relevant to today. However, the struct x is. You know what I mean? And so we need to find some way for us to inform our database that things are changing and to update the graph layout as those changes are made. So that's kind of the plan for today. The first step is just going to be to try to figure out how should we like pipe information from one process to another about like changes in the code base, right? Do we just like copy paste the whole file over the socket every once in a while? That would probably work for small enough files, but do files get big enough where that doesn't like play nicely? So I want to look into like language servers have this same constraint where Vim opens a file and has to tell the language server what it is doing to it. Vim owns like the current state. And so I would like to kind of take a look at like what it does, and maybe we could just do something similar for our case. Then we can actually send some we can actually send some updates to our server. We can then start trying to adjust our database to add new nodes, and then try to figure out how to track those references on the fly. That's the plan. And I guess let's just start moving and grooving. Okay, so step one, I guess we could tackle this in like two directions. We could like run a language server and try to see what Vim says, or we could get the Vim source code and take a little peek skis under the hood. I kind of would like to start there. I think it would probably be easier to look at it from the other side, but I'm kind of curious. I am kind of curious to see if we can get a little comfortable in the Vim codebase. NeoVim? Do I just have to fucking do this? Here. And can we just get like latest and greatest? Where are we? Source code? Source code. Hell yeah, dude. Sure. Really? Okay, what about this? Okay, and then he thinks that that's not a Targus. That's annoying. Maybe because if I click here, it goes through like some redirects or something that weren't tracked there. So, AUnpack downloads NeoVim. There we go. He's a little happier there. Okay. Can we just kind of start looking around? So, I guess we know that the language server protocol message for this is like, I think it's like did change or something. We can look at the spec. I can't spell spec, but that's okay. Google will correct me, or DuckDuckGo, I should say. Document synchronization. So did change text document. Document change notification is sent from the client to server to signal changes to a text document. Before a client can change a text document, it must claim ownership of it by using open. Okay, cool. And like, what does this thing look like? He's like, hey, here's the text document, and here are the content changes where each change is a range length, and some text. Right, so he says basically patch out this segment of text in your overall document. And language server, you can store this thing in whatever mechanism that you find reasonable, but just make sure that you can apply these changes. Cool. So we could maybe look for did change in here. I'm assuming that this is actually part of the language server. Like, I assume this is part of NeoVim and not part of like some extension. Okay, so there's handlers.lua in Vim LSP. That seems pretty fucking reasonable. Can we look for like did change in here as like, okay, so there's like LSP spec Lua. And this is a test, so we don't really care about this. Okay. Is there anything else in here? I'm kind of trying to figure out like how, what I want to know is if Vim is like sending over patches, where does it get the patches from? It's something that I'm hoping to find from here. You know what I mean? Change tracking? This seems promising. Okay, client notify sends a notification to the LSP server. Change tracking seems very promising. But maybe let's look at client as well. So client notify. Who uses this? Did change workspace folders. Oh, wait, so yeah, this is not what we want. Okay, okay. So wherever we were, it changed tracking. This was the winner right here. This was the winner. So send changes. Who calls this? And what happens? So he says, hey, if we have some language server attached here, let's send those changes over. Does he do anything else with this stuff? So this is in LSP, so probably not, right? So can we figure out like where this send changes gets called from? So all of this is in LSP change tracking. There's like kind of like a top level m.send changes. that is exposed externally, right? So we can probably assume that this is the same guys here in LSP Lua. Change tracking must come from like a require. This comes from the change tracking module. Nice. And so when he calls change tracking send changes, those also come from somewhere, right? So here, this looks like, based off this comment, that this is literally just like first attach of a buffer. So I don't really care too much about that right now. Oh, maybe we do actually. So first line, last line, new last line. Okay. Wait. This is actually very close to what I want. This is very close to what I want. So he's saying on attach, he creates an onlines function handler and has a tick here that he stashes here. So he says probably he's like somewhere keeping track of, have I applied this change already? Is this new? Is this old? What's going on? And then change tracking send changes. That's very, very promising. I bet you this is actually what we want, right? So I would be interested to look at nvim buff attach here, and on lines, what does this define? Okay, on lines, Lua callback invoked on a change. Return a truthy value to detach. Okay, sure. So args, the string lines, buffer handle, changed tick, first line that changed, last line that was changed, last line in the updated range. This is exactly what we want. This is huge for us. Okay, so we just have to, we could do it on bytes as well. But we'll see. What do they do in like language servers? So they have like content changes that just have ranges and new text. So presumably this change tracking in change tracking, surely he's probably like checking the buffer for the new content. Oh, whoa. Okay, so here, okay, interesting. So here they say sometimes we might send everything, right? Or we have maybe some pending changes that's kind of interesting. Buff state, so pending changes must get set. Buff number, sync kind, state, buff state. Wait, okay, so that's interesting. First line, last line, new line. That's different than these arguments. Am I fucking high? Right? This is, he's passing first line, last line, new line. And here we're seeing sync kind, sync state, buff state. So we're fucking missing something. Here we go. No. M dot send changes maybe? Here we go. There we go. Yes. Okay. Hell yeah. So he's got some groups, send changes for groups. Surely here he must look for incremental changes. Okay. And here he's got like some lines and he literally just like, oh, that's kind of crazy. Compute diff. Okay. So he looks at the lines that have changed and is like, were they actually changed? What is sync here? Vim LSP sync. Okay. So I wonder if that's something that we could look at. And compute diff. What's going on here? So returns the range table for the difference between previous and current lines. So he says, give me the start of the range, give me the end of the range, and extract the text and give me the range. Oh, okay. So this isn't actually computing a diff. It's like, it's not computing like a get diff. He's computing just like, give me like the LSP versions of these start and ends. And then extract text is probably the interesting part here, where they look at lines, because cur lines comes out in compute diff. Compute diff gets cur lines from here. Cur lines comes from state. Okay. Which comes from buff state. Okay. That's workable. I guess buff state here is maybe some internal thing that they're holding in like their globals here, maybe, but okay. I think that we can find some way. We can find some way to extract text from a buffer, surely. Cool. I guess what we might be missing is on lines. Is he going to tell us, like, I want to look at on lines again. So, last line that was changed, first line that was changed. Chill. I guess we're just going to have to start playing with this. I think we just start playing with this. So, how do we do that? It was nvim buff attach, okay? We're basically gonna notes. We'll say nvim buff attach on lines, and then we'll say change tracking sends incremental changes, and maybe we'll say like by, I don't know, we don't really know, but this is really the interesting part. Okay, so let's go into our plugin now. And can we just, for now, not that this is really a plugin, this is just like the world's shittiest script. But can we look at this? So can, like, nvim buff attach. So how do we invoke this? We might be missing a piece of, like, when is this called? We didn't quite get there, huh? We didn't quite get there. We need some way to say, is 0 like current buffer? Is it like fixed? If I change buffers, will that follow? Or is 0 like an alias for figure out which buffer I am right now and attach to that buffer, right? Those are like different, but it could be either. I would assume it's the second one, right? I assume that if I attach to the current buffer, then if I change buffers after, it does not like follow me, you know? So we might need to like unregister as we move as well, maybe. That's like a definite option. Okay. See also nvim buff detach. Okay, does this thing like return a handle? Activates buffer updates or on a channel or as a Lua callback. Okay, and it doesn't say anything. Oh, return false if attach failed, otherwise true. Right, so he doesn't like return like a handle or anything, which is kind of weird. Like, how are we supposed to... I don't really understand how we're supposed to stop only our updates. You know? You know? Like, surely there could be like 10 guys calling nvim buff attach on some buffer, right? And surely, when I detach, I don't want to detach all of them, right? Surely. And so, how do they know? You know, who owns this shit? Because this just takes a fucking buffer. Buffer? How does that make sense? How does this make sense? Maybe we look it up. Neovim buff attach. Nvim buff attach handle? Like surely somebody's asked this before, right? Maybe I'm just stupid. Maybe we ask the idiot? He's often wrong, but maybe he'll give us a clue. Neovim docs have a nvim buff attach call, which lets me assign some callback to be run when actions are taken on a buffer. There is also mvim buff detach buffer. How does NeoVim know which callback is being detached? Question mark. Let's see if he knows. So he doesn't fucking know. He doesn't know is the answer. Dude, I fucking hate. Just say you don't know. Just say you don't know. Okay. API Lua detach. In process, Lua callbacks can detach by returning true. So that's what we're actually supposed to do. That's what we're actually supposed to do, is we're supposed to say, my plugin is going to attach to this buffer. And okay, hello, here we go. So let's say that I want to go like on lines. Let's just start with saying vim print hi mom and then return true immediately. Okay? Let's just start there. Let's just start there. And can we actually kind of disable the rest of this code because I don't want to start spamming? And can we just say like source? Okay. Unexpected symbol. Am I fucking brain dead, stupid dum dum? I guess probably yes. We're okay. It could be that the insert is taking over. Can we like throw a syntax error in here? Oh, he's gonna get mad. So can we call like pretend it's a function? Okay, so that's good. Attempt to call global and ill value. So okay. And this is gonna happen forever, I guess. But that's kind of a good sign. Yeah, okay. So we need to okay. So how do can we just do like this or something? And maybe do it forever? I think what's happening here is the insert that shows in the bottom is making it so that I can't fucking see it. You know? So maybe how do we like debug this stuff? You know? Debugging NeoVim Lua. Like how to debug a Lua program. They're just saying fucking throw some prints. Inspect, transform Lua. Yeah, okay, so I guess they're kind of just saying throw it in a print. But if the print is being overwritten by like the insert thing, that's not very helpful. Old school Vim has echo message and messages. Not sure about NeoVim and Lua. Maybe use assert false. Oh yeah, I could do like this. Yeah, we could do that. I mean, that's not that's a little fucking annoying, but it is something. Okay. Oh geez. Oh my god, I'm gonna lose my mind. Okay. Well, I guess the problem mostly here is that like that it's getting overwritten. Can I do like this? Yeah, can we like Vim remove Oh, what if I do this? What if I increase the size of this thing? Oh, let's fucking go, dude. Okay, that's what you're missing. You can just kind of pull this up and get more than one thing. Let's do that. Okay. Okay. Hell yeah. Okay, so now we can return true here, source this, go like this, bring this up, source this, bring this up, we get a little high, hell yeah, okay. So now we can start trying to actually use this thing. So nvim buff attach, let's start looking at like what the parameters are here. So we should be seeing these, right? So we have handle changed tick, first line, last line. What does this mean? What does this mean? Last line updated. And can we just kind of start there and see what that looks like? Okay. So handle. So say handle is this. Change tick is this. And then it would be kind of nice. Is there like exception handling in this language? Like if any of this stuff fails, I still want to unconditionally return like true here to like deregister the thing. Right? I only really want to see this once. Is that like a thing you can do? Like Lua like catch assert. Is that like a thing you can do? We need to use functions pcall or xpcall. This function calls a request function in protected mode. If some error occurs, f does not throw an error, it just returns the status of an error. Okay. So you're telling me if I go like pcall, where is this like documented? Error handling exceptions. Pcall. Sure. So here, like, assert false hi mom, and then let's just see what happens if I source this. Okay. And then if I did this outside, yeah. Okay, okay. I'll take it. It looks like that's working. So here now we can be confident that we will only ever run once, and so if we really do something like brain dead fucking stupid dum dum, then that's okay. Last line, boom. Last line updated. Okay. Oh. We're only getting one thing at a time. That's kind of annoying. So do we have to get a little clever here? Can we like NeoVim show multiple Vim print lines? Like like NeoVim show many Vim prints. Messages? Oh. Okay. Can I show like show messages I guess that's what you were talking about a second ago, huh? Previously given messages. This is especially useful when they've been offered or account truncated. Can I like just kind of show them all the time? Oh, there's like, is there like last status? When the last window will have a status line. Oh no, I'm looking for like num messages. Determine how many entries remembered in messages history. But I want to know like how many you are fucking showing right now. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Vim option, increase number of shown messages. Fine. I guess like command type? But that's commit. Well, that's what you change when you drag the mouse. Yeah, it doesn't really feel right. Like if I call this right, I'm still only seeing one. Set command height. Yeah, it does feel like the same, huh? We can ask the idiot again. In Vim, is there a way to show multiple lines of messages in the command line like window all the time? Question mark. Command height. Nope. That doesn't show multiple independent messages. Just a large amount of space after the last message. Okay. That doesn't sound right, but yeah. All right. Can we like? I just want like a fucking scrolling messages. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. We'll live. I think concatenating yourself is the only option. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but I guess it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay, that's fine. Well, okay. So we run this. We do some stuff. And okay. So what I want to know is I changed some stuff on 44, 45, or 45, 46, 47. What does that tell us? So he might be sending multiple messages here, right? The last thing that we got here was only last line up to, oh wait, hold on. Oh, here, hold on. It's at the bottom. So we got first line, last line updated 45. So that doesn't feel like all of the changes, which makes me think that maybe this thing has to run many times. So this is 46, 47, 48, escape. I guess I have to clear this in some way. Can we clear messages Vim? So we say like messages clear. Okay. So okay, fuck off. Okay. Oh no, I see. So there's a lot of stuff happening just for that one fucking insert, huh? We're seeing like 453, 454, 455, 456, 457. Like that's crazy. And all of these are like identical almost, right? Oh, but maybe because we're registering over and over again. Okay, let's quit this, go back to plugin, and okay, source, percent, messages, nothing there. I insert at 47 and write one line. Interesting. So I wonder if that's once per character. Okay, so if we go like this, and immediately quick, nothing, and I put 1A. That gives me one update. Okay, I put in, let's do messages clear, messages, and let's put 2A's now. I see, okay. So it is giving us every single character that's inserted is firing a new onlines event, which seems very spammy. Very spammy, right? Like, we kind of want to, I guess, like, collect these changes over time and probably send them to the server once. Probably like on every tick where we send the current cursor position, we probably also want to send an update of like all of the things that have changed, right? That seems kind of reasonable. What is he trying to do? I am trying to keep track of changes that are happening in a Vim buffer so that we can send them over to our code visualizer and make sure that like as we are adding new classes, functions, files, etc., our like map visualization of our code base gets like updated along with the changes that we're making. And we're just trying to figure out how to notify those changes. And we can't just say every time you save the file, reload the file on the server side, because the server needs to keep track of which node in our graph our cursor is spending time in, right? Because we're trying to keep track, we're trying to show somehow visually where are we in the code base. So like if we want to say, if we're writing a new class, if we're writing like, you know, class like const x is a struct, and then we're in here and we're like const f is or like function f, and we're like in here, we haven't really saved anything yet, but we have been spending time in these functions, so we have to keep track of this stuff, you know. So we were kind of like we were trying to look into like how do language servers track this, and I would like to go back into the Vim code base again actually, because I'm not entirely convinced that we have the full picture here. Surely Vim is not just fucking spamming the language server every time a character is inserted. That's insane, right? That wouldn't make sense. So what was it? It was like change tracking.lua, and it was like incremental changes here. Send changes for group. So I presume that this is only sent like sometimes, right? So we had send changes here was used somewhere. Change tracking send changes is where we found this. And so he is literally saying every single fucking time. He is doing this on every tick, which seems pretty wild to me, but sure. Maybe in here, this only happens on like some... Aha! Ha 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 ha. Okay, reset timer. I'll bet you this is it. So they probably add changes, and then on a timer will actually send the changes if so they have like pending changes here, and then they only actually send the changes if the timer expires. Haha, okay. So that makes sense. So in the editor, they're collecting, applying, and then boom, we'll actually send the stuff to the server. IRC LSP can be triggered to autocomplete on AutoPair, so it would make sense if there were an event per press. Interesting. Which might be related to like this. It seems crazy to me to like spam the language server with that much stuff. But also, we don't really have to do exactly what language servers do. But you're right that like if we're, you might be right there. If the change area was like scoped enough, maybe it would be fine, right? One line at a time. Like I bet you Vim is making an assumption kind of generally that one line is not that expensive to send. So as you're editing, probably it's assuming that that's okay. Okay. So what do we want to do? We want to hold changes in Lua land and send them every time we send our current position. Okay. So I guess this is kind of like figure out what we are going to do. I think I have like a pretty good idea of this now. And let's say now that we are going to collect changes over time. I've been wondering about how to get this info to feed into a conflict-free replicated data type for a plugin for cooperative editing. On lines and probably on bytes even more looks like what I want. Dude, hell yeah. Cooperative editor, that sounds like such a project, but kind of sick. Okay. So what we're missing here is like what the changes were. Okay, so first of all, if I have like some stuff in here, this is going to spam us. So messages clear. If I go in here, I guess, if I just delete a line here. So that says first line 47, last line 48 is now 47 to 47, I guess is kind of what it's saying there. So let's confirm that that theory. So now we're going to saying 48 to 48. If I insert 3 lines here, we're expecting 48 to 48 to turn into 48 to 51 or something. Right? Oh, except it's doing it every single fucking line. So okay, that's it. So right, it's literally telling us every time it puts any character in. So first line and last line, it must be kind of saying, well, I don't understand. I don't fully understand. So I guess it could be something like this is non-inclusive. So if I'm at 51, oopsies. I'm at 51, which is 1 index, right? So if it said 0 indexed. So this is line 50. I am now inserting into line 51 right here, A. Okay, so he's saying line 51 to 52, right, has been modified. 52 must be non-inclusive. Same with last line updated. And so then if I delete this line, he says that we expect that to say that 51 to 52 is now last line updated 51. 51 to 52, last line updated 51. Right, so we're basically saying that got deleted. Okay, so now let's try deleting 3 lines at once. Okay, so now we're expecting that this will say 48 to 51 turns into 48 to 48. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, I think we get it. I think we get it. So what we want to do now is, I guess, on every time something happens, we say we need to track insertions and deletions and replacements, I guess. So here we have to have some sort of like, I don't know, some sort of like local, like pending changes. surely this is going to be a table of some form, right? Surely. And my like brain goes immediately to some sort of like class that holds some state that has some functions on it. So we say like we must have to like track some changes. So if we did like, do you do local function like this? How do you make sure functions don't leak? Lua local function. Is that like a thing we do? Learn x and y. Is like local function in here? Yeah, it is. Okay. Cool. So local function push change. Okay. We're gonna take in, I guess, this. I wonder what like the change tick is really for. The total number of changes to the current buffer is increment for each change. An undo command is also a change in this case. I wonder if that means that I can ask for changes since a given tick. That would be kind of useful. Because then we could just ask. Because like, or else what's the point of this? You know? Oh, only when a buffer is changed. I see. Sure. Okay. So we probably want the buffer here as well. And presumably we're gonna say, like, what's the sequence of actions here? If deleted, we're going to have to send, I guess like we need to figure out what like our network message is first, right? Our network message is probably going to be we're going to assume like a JSON blob, probably. That has like type in like one of delete. No, what? It'll be like initial range, which will have lines, right? So he's going to be like, oh my god, fuck off. Start 5, right? Like end 10. In range here, and can we just say like text here is maybe like, maybe this is like new content, and maybe he's broken down by lines. Line 1, line 2, line 3. That seems kind of reasonable to me, right? So we can even maybe change this to range. So we say, yo, there's like some shit. There's some shit, and it is now this shit. Okay. Seems reasonable. So now we have to, I guess, presumably we're going to send many of these if like, you know, many segments of the code was changed between updates. That seems reasonable. Right? So like, what do we want to store? We probably want to store some sort of like lookup for what ranges we have in since that we've modified since the last update. Okay. And presumably we have to keep track of the current range as well, I think, right? If somebody's like, delete lines 5 to 7, then they say add stuff at line 6, we need to make sure that like line 6 here has to be, I guess as long as it's in sequence, it's fine. But add stuff at line. So this turns into delete lines 5 to 8 and replace with line 6, right? I think that's what this happens. This becomes, which is confusing as fuck. Is that right? Because now lines 5 to 7 have turned into line 5. Line 6 is the old line 8. Okay, let's maybe not handle that case. What if we just didn't do that? So instead, let's consider that 2 messages that get sent. If those are 2 messages that get sent, what's the point in even folding? Right? Maybe that's a little silly. I guess I kind of like the idea of what the language server stuff did, which had like a timer. Right? So they kind of said like find, like they said like this stuff changed, but don't send for some time. And I guess what we can do is we'll say new stuff happened. If it's in the same block, yeah, if it's in the same block, we like modify. Else sent, then add new. Yeah. That seems pretty good. That seems pretty good. Okay. Yep. Okay. So I guess our pending changes, I guess it's literally pending change, right? We're only ever going to have one pending change at a time in this world. And here we're going to say like pending change range. Okay, sorry, my poor little fucking stupid dumb brain. It's so hard to think about. So like, if we have to check if we are in pending range. Okay? Simple. Simple. Maybe we'll say like, so the pending range is, I guess, like pending change range start is the start. The end is start plus pending change new content len, right? But like we don't really, I don't know if we have that here in Lua. I don't really fucking know Lua. So can we like length? Can we array? How do we like get the number of fields in here? Number v, right? Number v is the size of v for lists. So that means that this for loop has to be inclusive. It has to be. We can test that. For 1, 10, do vim print I equals. So here we're hoping to get 10 included. Crazy. 1 base indexing too. Yeah, crazy. Okay. Yeah, so the for loops are inclusive at the end, which makes sense because they are 1 indexed. It's the only way that that loop makes any sense at all. Okay, so that means here end is 1 past. So we should be able to do, I think, this number of the stuff in the new content. Okay. This all seems reasonable so far. So I guess we want to know if first line, last line, this is non-inclusive, right? So we have first line. Our understanding at this point is that first line equals line being edited. Last line is one past lines edited. And last line updated is new 1 past lines edited, right? So if we are in the pending range, it's if any lines between first line and last line are in this range. It has to be, right? So we go like last line could equal start. So if last line is greater than start and last line is less than or equal to end, how do you like if? They have if then end. Yeah, so I don't know why that end got in like a fucking bullshit, but okay. So if last line is greater than start and last line is less than or equal to end, return true. So far, so good. If first line is greater than or equal to start and first line is less than end, then end. Is that right? So if the current end is 1 past, we are in 5 to 6, so only 5. First line is now 6. This is not part of the existing range. True. If it's 5, it is. Okay, so last line is now 5. It is not, but last line is 6. It is. Okay, yep. Okay. Now, if we are in the pending range, we actually have to make changes to that range, right? So we have to take the range that we edited. We want to take range we edited, delete from pending, and add new content. Will end work as a variable name? Oh yeah, that's a really good point, huh? That's a really good point. That's probably why everything's fucked up. It's a pretty good point. And so I guess this is going to, we actually want like pending range lines, right? So if this is not in the pending range, we'll return nil here because there will be no pending lines. Can we call this like pending end and pending start? Okay. And now how do we do this? The lines need to support, we might need to adjust the range, right? Like if you have 1, 2, 3, and we have deleted this line and inserted 3 lines like this, right? We need to say this needs to turn into an instruction of like start minus equals 2 and push like delete first line, add 3 lines, right? That's like what this has to turn into somehow. So it's almost like so it seems to me like we want like start offs is equal 0, end offs is also equal 0, right? And if the last line is here, so if the last line is in this range, we need to, I guess we could kind of consider this edit range as like -2 to 1. And maybe that kind of implicitly encodes this information. That seems reasonable. So now all we have to do is like calculate our range relative to the pending range. Okay. So that means all we have to do is we say like first line relative to pending change, pending start. So if first line is bigger than this, then we get a positive number. And it's almost like we don't want pending end. It's almost like we want pending length. Right? Because yes, okay. So we have first line minus pending start, last line minus pending start. Okay. Okay. This is start offs is this, and end offs is this. Okay. So far, so good. If end offs is greater than it feels like I've spent like forever looking at these like 4 lines of code. Okay. So we're in this state here. We go past the end. We get start offset is like okay, this is 0, 1, 2. So our start offset is 2 and offset 5. Okay. So we want to say if start offs is less than pending len and end offs is less than pending len. Less than or less than or equal to? If start offs is less than pending len and end offs is less than or equal to pending len, I think. This is 3 long. Pending len is 3 long. So 0, 1, 2, 3. But Lua arrays are 1 indexed, so I have to be careful about this. Let's be careful. Okay, so if the start offset is less than the pending length. Yeah, because offsets are 0 indexed. Whether or not Lua arrays are 1 indexed, offsets are still going to be fucking 0 based. Okay, chill. We're chill. Start offs if it's less than the pending len, or if the end offset. No, this is it doesn't matter if the start offset is less than the pending length and the start offset is greater than or equal to 0, then we are definitely in this section. Or I'm assuming that I'm allowed to use fucking bracket, like parentheses in this language. Or end offset is greater than 0 or less than or equal to pending length. Okay, so if we're in either of these cases, then we just return start offs and end offs. Otherwise, we return nil. And then we take. I don't think we need last line updated here. Okay, yeah. Okay, so now we can say like pending range lines like this. If not pending range lines, we send pending change. Okay. Then we just replace this with what we want. So we said range is equal to first line last line. We can't use end. First, can we store, can we call it first and last? Okay. Then we have lines is equal to like, we need to actually like retrieve the content. But for now, do this. Okay. Then we have like an else case, I guess, where we fold into the pending change, which means that we have pending range lines 1, right? We have this, and then I guess we if start offs is less than 0, we will pad the start of the lines by that amount. So we go like pending change lines is equal to like, we need like negative start offs elms, like empty lists. That's kind of what we want here. So can we do like a list concat lua? Like table unpack. Yeah, so we can go like for I equals, do I need to assign something or can I just do the fucking numbers? Like, can I just do like for 1 to negative start offs, 0 to negative start offs? This is inclusive, so 1. Can I write like like this? Is that crazy? Is that crazy? I don't know. That seems kind of fine to me. It seems kind of fine. And then, what's with this? He doesn't like that for some reason, but it's fine. Else if elif? What is like else if in this language? Else if in one word. Else if end offs is greater than I guess the number of lines here. Missing a do for the loop. For and it looks like I do need this probably, huh? Yeah, okay. Else if the end offset is greater than the number of pending range lines. I'm sure there's gonna be off by ones everywhere here, dude. This hurts my fucking head so much. Okay. So here we just do like, I guess we could do this like with while, right? While start offs is less than 0, do end. So here we add one line to the start, and we say that the pending change range start minus equals 1. Start offs plus equals 1. End offs plus equals 1. Okay. Seems maybe reasonable. I don't know if they have these plus equals minus equals in this language. But I think that's right. Then we say while end offs is greater than pending change lines. I mean, yeah. We do kind of the same thing, but the opposite way. This is first and last, actually. So last plus equals 1. Lines is table unpack lines followed by a new empty table. And the offsets here don't change because they're relative to the start. Okay. Now, all we have to do is replace the content of those lines with the content of the buffer, which we haven't figured out yet. So can we extract that somehow? Buff get text, get lines. Get lines, there we go. Given gets a line range buffer from a buffer. Indexing is 0 based and exclusive. Negative indices are interpreted as length, okay, sure, out of bounds indexes, blah, 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 and it returns an array of lines. Wait, that's perfect. That's wonderful. So that probably means that we can go lines here is like envim buff get lines given this handle first line, last line updated. Oh, hell yeah, dude. And then here, all we have to do is go pending change lines from start offs plus 1 to, is there like a table slicing in this language? Probably not. Well, we can look. Is there like array? Yeah, I'm gonna assume no. So I guess what we'll do is we'll get local lines, right? We'll go for I equals 1 to number of lines. Do end. Okay, okay. Pending change lines at start offs plus I? Yes, 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 yes. This is working. This is working. Equals lines I. Tell me that doesn't fucking work. It might not, but that would be kind of cool if it did. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. And now actually I feel like these should be empty strings. And I don't know, let's just fucking run it and see what happens. So can we just vim print pending change here? And I guess we actually have to call push change. Handle, first line, last line. Last line updated. Okay, so he's pissed because 87 probably commas. No. Expected equals near dash and I6. So here we need to do like start offs plus here and offs plus here probably. And then this needs to be this plus 1 here plus 1 here. Okay. 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 I probably shouldn't type KKK. That was not. I was just. Oh, God. It's over. It's over. Okay. So I'm actually not seeing what I want to see. Musk clever detected. Oh, it was a mistake. I'm just a letter on my keyboard. Oh, it's so over. It's so over. First needs to be minus. Yeah, it does kind of seem like that way, huh? Does kind of seem that way. Okay. Source. True. Okay, messages. Messages. Oh, messages clear, I guess. ASDF. Messages. We're seeing nothing, which kind of indicates that push change is falling the fuck over, right? I bet you if we take out this p call here, we're gonna start seeing some problemos. I would assume. Aha, yes. So attempt to index field range, a nil value. Okay. So that's probably here, right? So here we have to check, like, can we check if a table has a field? Lua if table has field. I guess maybe we initialize this to nil. That probably makes our lives easier. And we just say if pending change, if not pending change, then return nil. That seems reasonable. And then here we actually have to implement send pending change. But for now, that's literally just going to be like pending change is equal to nil, right? So far, so reasonable, I would say. We should, I guess, probably, okay, pending change is local to this, so we're not going to be like fighting with some global value there. That seems chill. Let's try that. So now he's like, attempt to call global, mvim buff, get lines, a nil value. Hello? Is this in like, do I have to prefix this with something? Vim API, yeah. I'm gonna fucking lose my shit, dude. It's almost like testing this in the same editor as I'm editing in is fucking annoying. It's almost like that. Okay. Expected 4 arguments in function mvim buff get lines in function get change. Okay. Mvim buff get lines. What's he? Buffer start and strict indexing. So whether out of bounds would be an error. Yes. I think yes. Fuck. Okay. True. True. Okay. Source. Surely this time it'll work. Attempted to get length of a field, new content, a new nil value at 71. Okay. Yeah, this is just not a thing that exists. I called this lines. Source? Surely this time. Right? 119. What the fuck is the problem? Oh. That would do it, huh? Attempt to form arithmetic on local pending start, a new value, 73. Oh, god damn it, it's first. If only I had a sane development environment. I'm sure that a lot of this is like my fault for having like, you know, just being dumb, but attempt to compare table with number at 111. Yeah, that's true. Attempt to compare. Oh right, because it's the same fucking. He doesn't get the updates for free. You know what we should do is we should just have a separate Vim instance. But what if we just didn't do that anyways? Wait, okay. Wait. That's kind of right, dude. Okay, so now we go somewhere else. Okay, first we go messages clear. Let's delete that line. Okay, so that's not good because deleting that line, he seems to think that that wasn't a removal, so he still thinks that line's there. And if I do this now, now he thinks there's 3 lines. What if I go somewhere completely unrelated? Now, okay, so going completely unrelated, he seems to have figured it out. So it's something about like the tracking of like replacing. So it must be in here. Well, I guess it could not be. It could be in here as well. We could be fucking up. So pending range lines, let's just see. Lines. Like, let's just see what's in here. Okay, so we go, fuck. I guess we have to do this if they exist. And I guess our problem is that it's not deleting them if they don't exist. So it's actually likely that here the pending range lines are not coming out nil when we expect them to be. Okay, so testing again, we add to line 90 some stuff, right? So we're sitting here at line 89 because it's off by 1. Now we go to the next line and we start adding stuff there. So now it thinks that there are 2 lines in the range 89 to 89, which I guess is true. I guess that's true. We removed lines 89 and we added 2 lines to replace them. Okay, so what if we go here and we just add to 93 now? Okay, wait, maybe this is working right? Now let's delete all of these lines. Okay, so he doesn't like that. He does not like that at all. Does he like deleting a single line? He's okay with 2 lines? All lines? Wait, why is that okay? Is it just like broken? That was weird. ASDF, ASDF, ASDF. So now we have 3 lines inserted at line 88. Then we delete all of these. Ah, it might be if we're deleting more lines than exist. That's like that exist in the line buffer? Okay. So we go 1, 2, 3. Right? We have 4 lines here that replace 88 to 89. I guess that is probably what happened. Yeah, okay. What happens if I undo here, by the way? That's not good. I'm concerned that undo is either not applying or we are not tracking it right. Both of those are very real options. Very real options. But let's start with let's focus on the bug that we were working on a second ago. It was okay. Let's go to somewhere completely different. Go here. ASDF, ASDF. So we added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at line 122, and then we delete 1 line in the middle. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines at 122 again. So deletions are probably not getting tracked correctly at all, is my guess. Because right, because we pad lines. Yeah, so we go, hey, these are the lines that were changed. I guess what we need to do is for I equals first line updated or last line updated to last. We want to go from like the old last line to the new last line. I'm thinking. So here, everything we're checking is like, was our initial start to end the same within the existing range? Okay. Then we are now saying, okay, we have more lines now. We have 5 lines instead of the 3 we had before. So I would like to assign into this thing all of these lines. That seems fine. And I think we need to just go. I think we need to like delete for the end of this thing to last line updated. Or like last line updated minus last line. Something like this. We need to like delete those lines. Okay. So for I equals 1 to I is the difference between those things. Delete from start offset plus number of lines plus 1 plus I. Delete those. So I guess we could do this same. Okay. Dude, my poor little brain. We go from. We create new lines. For I equals 1 to something. Start offs plus lines. Yeah. I guess we kind of do this. So we go. We have new lines. We have new lines. Yes, we have. These are the buff lines. Buff lines and new lines. For I equals 1 to I is start offs. Okay, seems reasonable. We say new lines at I equals pending change lines at I. Okay, so far, reasonable. Then we push in the lines that we got, the new updated lines. Okay. Then we have to tack in the stuff that was there before. And I guess this has to do with like end offset change. So like here we got everything in the range that was requested by the editor. I guess we go for I is equal to end offs. That must be what we tracked end offset for. To pending change the number of old lines. We put those in the new lines. Maybe something like this. New lines I plus end offs. I have no idea, dude. This is like my poor little brain just cannot fucking handle all of this at the same time. It's so it's in so much pain. No, end offset is used here on the right side. So what is used on the left side here? I guess like start offs plus number of lines? By lines, I mean buff lines? I don't fucking know, man. This is awful. But that like might be right. So we take this in 3 stages. We take the initial stuff, up until where our new lines are. We have our new lines. We stick those in, assuming that this is correct. That seems fine. Probably start offset starts with 0, so I starts with 1. Okay, chill. And this is inclusive, so we get 1 to buff lines. Okay, that seems reasonable. Then we ended here. Surely this needs plus I. Yeah. That's a maybe. And then what happens if end offset is like too big here? Pending change lines. Like, surely the end condition of this loop is wrong. Surely. So this is what we had before. And we're saying our end offset from the start, if it's bigger, we're chilling. Okay, maybe. I'm like not 100% on this, but it seems kind of like a maybe. Wait, this isn't Zig. Where am I? Sorry, Blug. This will talk to some Zig later. Does that help? Okay, so 3 lines added. We have 3 lines added all at 130. Okay, now let's delete the line in the middle. That's not good. That's not good. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Interesting. Can we vim print start offs and end offs? Okay, and then can we also start like logging? Oh, wait, we have to assign the new lines. That's an important part of this whole puzzle. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so we say, let's go 1, 2, 3. Oh, which means that this needs to do that. Pending change lines should not be changed until the very end. Okay. So we go source 1, 2, 3 messages. We have 3 lines inserted. Big win. Delete one of them. Wait, okay, that seems kind of good. So now we have ASD and KFJF. Okay, we delete both. Nothing? Okay, huge for us. And now, why does every time I exit that thing, it thinks I'm in a macro? Title's also happy hour, by the way. Fuck. Well, too late now. Now I go somewhere else, change something else. This is now a new insertion. Huge, 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 huge delete. Fuck. Gone. Add something else here now. That's looking pretty good. Okay, what if we delete 2 lines now? Okay, so now we're back to it being mad that we've deleted more lines than like we had in the range. So this is at unpack on a nil value at 111. You watch, there will be a built-in function for this somewhere. That's okay. I don't really mind running it, you know? So I guess here what's happening is lines is nil. Lines is nil. What is lines here? Of course it's nil. This doesn't exist. Of course this is mad. Okay, let's try that. So we must have just never been hitting those cases before. So source, we add some shit, messages, He's got our shit in there. We delete more than the stuff we added. He's still fucking mad at 111. So, but this time, it's less clear. Messages clear. Write some stuff. Hello. Messages clear. Messages. Nothing there. Okay. Add some stuff. Messages. Okay, so he thinks there's like a lot of stuff in there, which is not good. And then we just delete like way more. Okay, and then he's at like, he thinks attempt to call field unpack a nil value. Oh, maybe he's claiming that unpack is not a thing on table. That's probably what he's saying, right? So if we go like x is 1, 2, 3, vim print table unpack x. Yeah, unpack is not valid. Adam Learns Live, thanks for the raid. What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? Okay. Y'all raiders probably need some context. You need some context. We are working on building a code visualizer. The intent here is we work on a large code base. As the code base gets larger and larger, it gets harder and harder for people to keep track of how like what we're working on today impacts like the overall project. So we're trying to build something that could say like, hey, I am working on the text renderer, right? And like if the text renderer, sorry, I fucked up the GUI a little bit in happy hour today, but you know, if I'm working on the text renderer, where does this impact? So we can see in here that he's touching like the text object in the image editor. He's touching the OpenGL abstractions for rendering. He's touching like some stuff in font loading. He's touching some stuff in GUI text labels, right? So the intent here is to kind of like eventually put this on the side of the screen with some sort of like, what's it called? When you have like an overlay here with like a legend with some legend that says, you know, which parts of the codebase are we working on right now? How do they relate to other pieces of the codebase? And like, what is like the hierarchy of that and stuff like that? We're trying to provide like at a glance info. So what we're working on right this second is we are trying to hook this thing up to our image edit or our text editor. So instead of me manually typing in text renderer and highlighting it, we want like Vim to instruct this like visualizer about all of the changes it's making, so that when I add a new class, a new dot shows up in the viz and says something. So we're kind of working on like tracking changes as they happen in Vimland, and trying to like lazily send over like once a second what were like all of the changes that we made that you need to know about for me to get the right answer when I say I'm at line 10 in this file. What function is that? Well, you need to know what functions exist at those places in the file. So that's what we're kind of working on right now, is trying to like understand how to like send that shit over from Ludoland. So Adam, thanks for the raid, much appreciated. And we're just gonna keep going. So the strategy so far, which may be flawed, maybe not flawed, who knows, is to ask, hey, we have some new text, Vim. Every time some lines change, could you call this function? And we say, hey, this is the first line that was changed, the last line that was changed, and if you deleted text, then this last line updated will be like smaller. If you added text, this will be bigger, right? Kind of hand wavy. We say, hey, could you tell us how the start and end, where the start and end of the inserted text is relative to the change that we've already been holding is? Then we're trying to do something that's like, sounds interesting, wish you luck. Gotta have a bunch of stuff done for myself before vacation, so I can head out. See ya. Have a good vacation. Catch you later, dude. Thanks again for the raid. Okay, so this stuff is gonna be like, hey, let's take the stuff that was in the pending changes before, let's tack our shit on top, and then let's tack on the remaining shit, minus the section that was deleted. But what we're getting into trouble in here is we're trying to concatenate lists in Lua, and I don't know how to do that. I googled something and said table unpack. Table unpack, we just found it doesn't exist. So we have to fix that. Can we do like... I guess what we can do is we know that we can just assign to an arbitrary index in this thing. But if we're trying to append, that's easy. We don't have to do any of this shit. We just go like pending change lines at end offs is equal to an empty string. Now we have to be careful here because actually I think we don't even have to do this. I think this is covered below. So the only thing that's not covered is if we have to adjust the start of our list, and we just don't know how to like fucking prepend an element to a list in Lua. Lua prepend to list. Table.insert. We could try that. I guess we should check in here first. Test Lua. So can we do a table insert x1 0? Right, so at index 1, add the element 0. And I guess we should vim print x here at the end. Okay, that works. So that's all we want to do here. So we say table insert pending change lines at index 1 an empty string. And that should fix our broken shit. Maybe. Let's find out. So what was our test? We add 3 lines. We check our messages. He's like, okay, you've inserted at line 128 these 3 lines. Great. And then we deleted 4 lines. And now he says, you've taken lines 127 to 128 and replaced them with nothing. Let's fucking go, baby. That's a fucking deletion if I've ever seen one. Okay, and then when I undid, he says from 127 to 127, let's add this stuff. Ooh, That's not good. That's not good. Because we only got into this state because we deleted stuff. So we have to be careful here. Okay, so what's happening here? This should, what we want to see, if we're okay with this line coming back in, then it means that we need to at least delete that line from the old thing. So this has to go back to 127 to 128, which is kind of fucked. That's kind of interesting. I'm kind of interested to know, like, what the edit sequence says from NeoVim's perspective when we see this. So the sequence was add 3 lines, delete 4, undo. That was the sequence. Okay. So can we at the get some information about like what the inputs to this function were? Vim print first line. How do you do this? Like this. First line, last line. Updated. Okay, let's just see what happens when we do that. So the sequence was, oh fuck. Insert 1, 2, 3. Okay. Delete 4, undo. And what I'm interested in is what that last undo did. So here, we have said, okay, first line 83, last line 84, we're adding a new line. Chill, right? When we then like this seems reasonable to me from the perspective of Vim is like oh this okay, so before we had first last 8082 and this is replacing it. So I suspect what's happening here is that this guy is not noticing that he's the same insertion as this. Oh, or maybe this was just sent earlier and it's actually fine. If this was sent to the server, then the server would delete the end from before. Then we would add it back here and everyone would be kind of happy with that. That's like actually kind of maybe it. Sent. We'll just write sent here and that will give us a bit of insight. For if this is behaving correctly. So again, the sequence was add 3 lines, delete 4 lines, undo. Oh, we actually have to run the code to run the code. So this was add 3 lines, delete 4 lines, undo messages. Oh, wait, this is actually totally fine. Okay, wait. So this turns into us adding these 3 lines. This is the addition of the 3 lines. Then we go, oh shit, this is actually going to turn into replace line 131 to 132 with nothing. Wonderful. Then he sends, we have like a new thing that happens and our code goes, this isn't in that range, which is maybe kind of wrong. Right? You could argue that 131 to 131 is in the range of 131 to 132. In fact, it definitely is. But then he goes like, send that shit off. Here's some new shit. Which is behaving correctly. That's behaving correctly. So that's pretty sick. That's actually pretty damned sick. Okay, so now the only question, I guess, is why does it not think that this is correct? Because we're saying start offset is greater than pending len or less than pending len. The fuck? If start offset is less than pending. Oh, no, wait, that makes sense. So we say start offset, give me the first line minus pending start. So the first line was, we were seeing 131 and 131, I think. Yeah, we were saying 131 and 131. And then it was one, we had last was 132 and last line 131. So we said, if start offset is less than pending len, less than or equal to here maybe? Because pending len here is 0 because our output length was nothing. And if start offset is greater than or equal to 0, okay, or end offset is this and end offset is greater than 0. Okay, that's like a maybe. That's a maybe. Let's try again. So again, add 3 lines, delete 4 lines, messages. Oh, and then the last thing was undo. That looks kind of right to me. Yeah, that's pretty fucking sick. And then he sent off the previous thing and added the new thing. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty sick. That is pretty sick. That's hype. That's hype. So I think, I mean, there's a lot more testing to do for sure. A lot more, what do you call it, hardening, when you don't write tests for your code and you just run it for a while to make sure that it's okay. There's more hardening to be done here. but overall, I would say that's a win. It looks like we have a way to track within Vim what changes have been made. We will not spam the server with too many changes. We will only update the server when send pending change is called, which will happen if our current change is not contiguous with the previous change, or we will add it to this thing that says when our timer expires, before we write out the latest change, we will send or before we send out our current cursor position, let's update the content of the file first. That kind of bangs, dude. I'm super okay with that. That's, I mean, I was expecting to get a little farther today, but I also wasn't expecting so much complexity in like tracking content. So I'm okay with that. I'm actually like very okay with the amount of progress made today. Thanks for watching, guys. I think we're gonna call it there. If you like what you saw, we stream most days at around 12:30 Pacific time to 4 o'clock Pacific time. It is 4 o'clock Pacific time now, so you should expect to see us online between 3.5 hours ago and now if you're watching live. If you are watching live and you're like, wait, I want to see more, but I'm not going to be able to follow everything, there is a YouTube link in the Twitch description. VODs go up in organized into playlists. Right now we're working on building a map of my code. But there's other stuff in here too if you want to check it out. You might notice that I said 12:30 to 4. The VODs are usually around 2 hours. That's because we upload the 2 to 4 segment, which is kind of like focused, time stamped, like new feature development, something that we can say, I implemented this today, right? But there's a lot of other stuff that needs to be done when you are coding. So if you want to see like kind of like code cleanup / research / kind of like more chill vibes, whatever, you got to catch that on the live segment 12:30 to 2, or you can hit join on YouTube, subscribe on Patreon, sub on Twitch, and you'll see VODs for those segments as well. But don't feel bad if you don't do that, because you won't miss anything too important. No new features are done there. It's mostly just like cleanup and shit. Well, I shouldn't say no new features, but no major improvements are not made in those times. So, yeah. YouTube, peace out. Twitch, let's find someone to raid.